5th turbo now, everyone. So this is our current issue. Like the 1st, 3rd and 5th are like within an inch of there, and then 2nd, 4th and reverse are about where it needs to be. I think it's to do with the gearbox change, can't find anything else wrong. So we're going to whip this out. There's 2 bolts underneath. We just give this a pull. It pops out. 4 nuts on the top. The bolt that goes underneath connects. And then I think we'll pop it on the vise and smack it to bend the point from there down to the joint to bring it back to there. And then we might put a little sneaky quick shift on it at the same time, just so that that's not the shift, that's the shift. Be nice, wouldn't it? Okay, well that wasn't simple. Good grief. So I don't know what the EcoBox does exactly. It's still a bit far to the left for my liking. Like there's not much to the right and it's all to the left. So I might tweak this here just to bring it across a little bit, but it's a shorter shift, it's in the right place. Everything was alright until we went for 1st and 2nd and we couldn't get 2nd at all, and 1st was touching the exhaust. So we've also raised it into the cabin by about 10mm, flipping the mount basically, so it's bolted from inside, not from underneath. And then it resulted in blowtorch and hammer on the main bar that goes forward to give it a little kink to go around the exhaust, about sort of down there somewhere. So we've got all the gears, let's go. So 5th turbo is a charm. We've just seen we put a new engine in Mrs Piggys 206 Daily, and we transferred over to a KO3 vacuum operated turbocharger, this one, which will be the 4th turbocharger we fitted to this 206, and instantly we had issues with clouds of smoke. We thought, you know, engine's been moved around, I brought it from South Coast and it'd been sat for a few months, so we gave it a bit of a chance. But no, it was clearly chucking oil out. The exhaust flexi is blowing slightly, which I'm going to replace at the same time as doing this, and the exhaust flexi was saturated with oil spots on the back, and the seller, admittedly this is all second-hand turbos, so you kind of shoot yourself in your foot. It's quite possible. I'm amazed I've done it this many times with this one car, but there we go. I was like, no, it was never, no oil ever before. And bear in mind this happened straight away, no tuning involved, no running it hard or anything. And if you can see how damp it is in there compared to the one we're replacing it with, which is bone dry, and then the elbow, the modified one, and the dry one, you can see it's absolutely saturated with oil in there, and it was actually dripping out the join there onto the floor. It was like blowing out that much. So very clearly the 4th turbo is dead. 5th turbo. So let's fit that on and let's get a map on this and actually make benefit of this turbo with the new engine, with ARPs. That would be nice. Okay, so it looks exactly like it did before. That's because it should do. Basically it's got a new turbo on there again. So that's the 5th turbo now on the Daily. But while we're at it, we fixed up the exhaust pipe like I should have done originally. So up front now, the flexi is up in the tunnel where it should be. You can see the clamp there, just about where it is. You can bask in my amazing ability of welding. It's not April Fool's Day. I'm just being sarcastic if you didn't notice already. Sarcasm sign coming. And Sports Cat. So the Sports Cat was up there and the flexi was here and the flexi was destroyed. And then we've got another join there and a nice join there. Now probably more joins than some people like. I don't mind these little slip joins because that gives you flexibility to position, because I've probably welded it wrong, flexibility to position exactly where you want it. So anyway, that's where I want it now. That's exactly how I wanted it originally. I didn't have the right parts, and it means it's now sitting just right in the bumper, because of course that's important when it's all peeling. But it was hanging down about 2 inches because the flexi had failed. Partly I think because of poor flexi, like materials, and partly because I put it in the wrong place, so it was getting a lot of abuse at the wrong angle. and they're not meant to get that much abuse really. But you can see how oily it is. That was basically from the oil going through from this turbo that apparently the seller said had never had an issue before, and was leaking through the broken part of the flex. It was absolutely dripping. I'd soaked it and cleaned it once just to diagnose, and then it just was soaked within seconds almost of driving. So that's cut out. Turbo's fixed. Exhaust is fixed. Now it's time to map this sucker. Let's see what we can get out of our rough and ready daily. Yeah, pink for the win. Yummy. If I leave this here like that, then that'll cool that little connection down. No doubt it'll get really hot. All the boost it's controlling. So I'll just leave that there. Just sort of bit of foam on the top, bonnet down. Job's a good one, boys. Damaged door, damaged wing. I know the picky ones out there, the detailers and the painters will notice a slight difference in the colour. You know, the shade isn't quite right, but you got to admit, like, the colours, you know, they get painted at different times. So there has a hint of blue in it, and that has a hint more silver. But I don't think it's too bad. Yeah, I don't think it's too bad. Backstory a little bit here. I'll show you the pictures now of the damage. So JCB pulled out, and I'll show you the damage pictures. The door wouldn't shut right, and you couldn't open it and shut it. So something's still not right here with the A-frame, the A pillar, because I've had to really manhandle the door on to try and get it to shut nice and straight. And this light's just like all over the place. So there's some brackets here that's obviously pulled. Something along there's pulled. There we go. So that rear door is damaged, but shuts and opens okay. And so for now, it's drivable. I feel a bit heartbroken really. It wasn't in great condition before, like the paint wasn't in good condition, but actually the panels were all really straight, so it's a shame. Okay, so the 206 globe plugs are out because I was driving along through a small flood, nothing massive, and a vehicle came the other way. Usual big huge Range Rover drove straight at me. It meant I had to get it out the way or have a head on. And then the bow wave just completely engulfed the car, and it naturally hydrolocked. So globe plugs are out. Let's hope this goes well. That is a lot of water. Let the starter cool down a bit and we'll do that again. And then, in the meantime, we'll drain the intercooler and see what happens. But she's all back together and running. Let's go for the retest now. We're a few minutes late. Incredibly though, I think I've pulled it off. So slight error, that broke. She seems to be purring away, so let's crack on and go.